What's good YouTube? How's everyone doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another reaction video. If you're new here for the first time, my name is TMR, and since you clicked on this video, you might as well subscribe to this YouTube channel and make sure you click that notification bell. Leave your comments down below and enjoy this reaction video. What's good YouTube? What's good, TMR gang? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to yet another live reaction video. You have just entered the Break Room Chronicles. Well, breaks are normally 15 minutes, but y'all over here, we break for 1 damn hour. Shouts out to the 2 Live crew. Child, I see you. By far the best damn chat on YouTube, honey. You better ask someone about this 2 Live crew. Oh, and shouts out to the Bush gang. Hey, Bush watchers. What to do, Bush gang? Shouts out to the Replay gang. Hey, Replay gang. Thanks so much for stopping by. Make sure you let us know in the bottom of the video that you're Replay gang in this thing. So myself and the 2 Live crew definitely know it's real. Hey, y'all, what's good? I hope you guys are feeling good and doing great. Thank you guys so much for stopping what you were doing and meet me over here in the damn break room, y'all. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness gracious. Y'all see the title. Y'all see the thumbnail. Yes, honey. We have Key plus 3 in the break room today. Oh, my goodness, y'all. I definitely saw this young lady's video, and I had to bring this conversation to the break room because I think it's a conversation that we all can relate to. Maybe some of you guys may not. Maybe you guys may not be able to relate to this because you never had any issues with getting your coins from your baby daddies, okay? But there definitely are a lot of women out here who have had that issue. Before we get started with the video, the live reaction video, I need y'all to most definitely clock in to the break room, honey. And how you do that is by hitting the subscribe button and clicking the like button. Please make sure y'all clock in to the break room. Although breaks are paid, I still need to know where y'all at and what y'all are doing. And the only way I know that is if you are subscribed to the channel and you hit the like button. All right, you guys. So here we go. Oh, okay. You know what? Here's the problem with this story for me. Okay. When I listened to it, this was the problem for me. If Key plus 3 had not last year got on the internet, this good Beyonce internet, and basically, in my opinion, panhandled her way through the whole Christmas holiday, I probably wouldn't even have an opinion either way about what she's saying, because she basically was talking about child support and being a single mom. And if you guys don't know, Key plus 3 is the mother of 4. Okay, she just had a baby about a year ago, almost a year ago. I think the child turns 1 this November, and then she has 3 other children. Her children she has 4 kids, 2 different dads. I believe her first set of children are by one man, and then her last child is by another man. Now, if you're not familiar, Key plus 3 is also married. I don't think she's divorced. I think she's still currently married to her wife, Misha or Nisha. I believe the lady's name is Misha, but they are separated. They've been separated since last year. And that's when I became a little bit more familiar with Key plus 3. When right soon after she had her baby, her last child, and then she went through the whole separation of her wife. She found out that her wife was cheating on her with a coworker, with her wife's coworker. And that's how I became familiar with her storyline last year. Now, Key went back to work January of 2022. And she kind of fell off. I didn't really see her upload on YouTube like that. And then when she came back maybe about 3-4 months later, and she made reference to that she was in a new relationship and she was dating some guy. And then maybe about, I don't know, a week or two, maybe a couple weeks ago, she started talking about her ex-wife. Well, I'm not even going to say ex because I don't think they're divorced. She started talking about her estranged wife again. And I didn't hear any more about the man. But the reason why I'm bringing this video to you guys is she is out shopping for school shopping, which we know, we watch My Jazzy Life. Sis have done a whole 6-week series about back to school shopping. And we know this is the time of year that the kids are going back to school. And we understand as moms, regardless if you're single or married, we know back to school shopping is strenuous for a lot of parents, okay? Although back to school is not an unexpected expense, all parents know once a year you have to get your children ready for school, and that consists of buying school clothes, school shoes, school supplies, paying fees to get sports physicals, if they're playing instruments. We know going back to school is a whole debacle. You got to get the kids into the doctor. You got to get shots. You have to go and get their hair either braided or cut or whatever style your child is rocking. We know going back to school is like getting a child ready for prom. Like it's a whole series of things that happens before the child actually go back to school. And then a lot of parents are faced once again with, before and after school care. If you have a child that's under the age of 12, so now that's another additional expense. Sometimes parents get a little vacation from those expenses of childcare in the summertime. If they have, someone that can watch their children, or if you are a parent, a mom who's separated from your significant other, a spouse or children's father, and maybe the kids go with dad for the summer. Some parents are fortunate to have that. Some are not, and some still have to spend the expense throughout the summer of childcare. But my whole point of saying is back to school is not an unexpected expense. It's not an expense that we like to pay for every year, but we all know that back to school is something that happens every year. It typically happens around the same time every year. August, September. It's pretty much the same time. And it's interesting to me that so many moms, well, I'm going to say parents, more so moms, because I watch more moms talk about back to school shopping than I do dads. But it's interesting to me how a lot of moms struggle with the back to school thing when, again, like I said, it's an expense that we kind of know is going to happen. It's not an unexpected expense. Like if your car breaks down, you don't expect for your car to break down, but it breaks down and now you're out of pocket with, $300, $1,000, $1,500, depending on what the repairs are your car. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Throughout the years of me sending my kids back to school, there were times where I was prepared for back to school. And then there were times where I wasn't prepared. I knew back to school was happening, but obviously, even with back to school happening primarily the same time every year, life happens, and sometimes I had money allocated to the side for back to school expense, and sometimes I didn't. But even when I had the situation where I wasn't prepared, I tried to make sure the following year I was prepared. To me personally, I think it's just all a part of budgeting yourself, learning, what you need to do ahead of time to just keep yourself ahead of the game. If you're able to do that, I understand there's a lot of parents that are not able to do that. So, and nor am I downing any of the parents who struggle every year with back to school, because again, I was a parent who struggled with that at times with back to school. But the problem I have with Key Plus 3 is she's done a video we're going to take a look at, we're going to react to, where she is basically saying that she has her children have a father, her 3 oldest kids have a father, and he sounds like has money. She said he just bought another Audi, and she is refusing to get child support from this man. She said when she got custody, I guess she has full custody of her children, she declined child support. And I don't know if she did that because she was married or whatever the situation was. However, she declined to make this man financially responsible for her children. So let's go ahead and take a look at that video.
So I'm at Walmart and I'm just in here and I'm vlogging. My hair's a hot mess. And I was just thinking, like, well, I ran into, so as you guys know, I'm a mentor to 3 amazing women in the Black Maternal Wellness and Innovation Lab that I participated in. I'm a birth justice advocate. So I had to say that just so you can know what I'm talking about. So I ran into one of my mentees at the last Walmart I was at. And y'all, we was sitting there talking for, I don't know how long, like 2 hours standing there in Walmart. And we were just talking about, I put this in my blog, about relationships, being a single mother. And I'm currently at Walmart and I'm shopping for back to school. And when I got full sole custody of my kids, I declined child support. So I declined child support for number one reason. My baby daddy loves to be on the internet. He loves to get on Facebook. He doesn't have a YouTube or anything, but when I got full sole custody and they asked me for child support and I declined any child support, I didn't decline child support because I didn't want the child support or that I didn't need it. I deserve it, need it, and want it. Okay, I have 3 kids that cost money, okay? And I'm a single mom working.
Okay, so you're saying you decline child support because your baby daddy likes to floss on the internet? Now, I'm sorry, sis. That makes absolutely no damn sense to me. Now, maybe that makes sense to some of you guys out there, but that makes no sense to me. Now, Key just explained that she's a mentor. She does some type of birth, something about, it kind of sound like she's almost like a medulla. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I don't remember exactly what she says she does, but it's something she does, like helping women birth babies or something to that nature. And it's kind of odd that she even says that she does that, because when she birthed her child last year, she literally was all by herself and like almost had a nervous breakdown in hospital. So I'm kind of shocked that she says that she mentors other women that goes, with the birthing experience, when the way she handled her birthing experience of her last child, based on my opinion, I don't know if I would want her mentoring me, but I digress. So she says she's mentoring, and you're basically talking about the struggles of being a single mom. And it sounds like you have a baby daddy that can afford to pay child support. Shouts out to all the moms who have baby daddies who refuses or either can't afford to pay child support, but you still know you need it. But you have one that can pay, and you refuses payment because he does social media. Sis, I need you to explain that.
2 jobs and doing social media, and it still ain't enough. So, I declined it for those reasons. I declined it because this man could get on the internet and bash me and say, oh, I pay for those kids every single month, but I can't see them. You can't see them because of the choices that you made, not because I don't want you to see them. They don't want to see you because they just know who you are and they're old enough to have their own opinion about you. But it's just mind-blowing that women are put in a position, unfortunately.
Y'all, I'm sorry. It's just shocking to me how this lady has all these adult conversations in front of her children. I understand being open and honest with your children, especially when they get to a certain age. But I just really feel like certain things kids should not hear about. And is it really that the father is not being a willing participant? Or is it because he's not a willing participant because he's not willing to participate with Key and the way she wants to do things? Because Key definitely seems like she's a very controlling individual. And she definitely seems like she's kind of a hard person to deal with. Because if you notice, Key does a lot of talking and she doesn't do very much listening, right? You could just tell by her conversation. She doesn't do very much listening, but she does a whole lot of talking. And a person like that, in my opinion, would be very hard to deal with, to get along with. Because when you talk and never listen, it sounds like you're not trying to communicate. Because communication, a key point in communication is have good listening skills and good comprehension skills and good talking skills. That's the biggest, those are 3 key things for communication. And we definitely know she's very good at talking. In my opinion, she doesn't do very good with listening. And I believe she knows how to comprehend, but she doesn't do good with listening. So you're basically saying that your kids don't want to be a part of their dad's life for their own reasons, but it sounds like their reasons are based off her suggestions. Her conversation is the reason why they don't. That's just my opinion. You guys let me know your thoughts down below.
Sometimes because choices they make and the people they pick to be, the baby had a blowout, so he doesn't have pants on. He just has his shirt. So
stop. The baby had a blowout in Walmart, and you had to take his pants off. He just has on a diaper in public. So, sis, would it make more sense to hurry up and wrap up the shopping experience and get your kids back home so you can get the baby settled and situated? I'm pretty sure he probably needs to be a bath. I'm just going to hope that you wiped him down with baby wipes. But do you see how social media typically is more important to these moms at times than the children themselves? Because I'm sorry, if my baby would have had a blowout in the store and I'm shopping with 4 kids, the last thing I would have had the patience for is a 3-minute live stream. I wouldn't even have had the patience for that. But this woman decided to go stop and go live in the middle of Walmart at the jewelry counter. Like, girl, why didn't you just go to the car? At least the kids would have been sitting down.
Accountability, yeah. You pick that person as your baby daddy, but we don't know going into, sometimes you see the red flags and sometimes you don't. But we don't willingly go into situations and have children and be like, oh, no, I'm a single mom. Like, no, that wasn't what we wanted. Sometimes things like that just happen. But I'm over here budgeting. We went to the mall and I bought the kids' shoes. It was like almost $400 with socks. And then now we've been shopping the rest of the day. I have so much content, you guys. I'm going to stay up tonight and I'm going to just have it.
Stop, sis. You say you're handling this the best way you can. The next video we're going to watch, you'll see her reference herself as a real boss mom. Well, sis, real boss moms, in my opinion, does not give price tags or does not discuss coin when they're boss moms. Because I would think a real boss mom is a woman that can handle it and don't complain about it. That's what a real boss mom is. You talking about you spent $400 on shoes. I mean, sis, to be quite honest with you, you kind of got over like a fat cat because shoes are very expensive. For 3 kids going back to school, you spent $400 and you bought socks too. Well, shoot, girl, you gotta steal. I'm gonna just be honest with you.
All posted in the morning, so just forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm really doing the best that I can, juggling 4 children and working 2 jobs, and trying to really still do social media. And I just was like, how sad is it that I really do need the help? I'm making it happen because there's no other choice. Guys, hit a like if you guys are here.
Right. How sad is it that you really do need the help? And because of your pride, your stubbornness, you refuse to get the help. If your baby daddy is flossing on the internet, he need to be flossing his ass in the child support office as well, too. So, you guys, her video cuts off within like the next 8 seconds. I think that was a sign from God that she need to get her ass off of live in the middle of Walmart and get those kids home bathed and probably fed and in the bed. Because it looks like on the way she's looking very disheveled in this video, looked like sis had a rough day back to school shopping. Now we're back, you guys, and the key is, I guess she made it back home, okay? She made it back home because I think her phone died on her at the Walmart. And now she's basically telling us, well, she showed us a little bit of what she got the kids I think she said it was like a week's worth of clothes, school supplies, hair accessories, and things of that nature. So now we're going to get into, she starts talking about the reasons why she doesn't accept the child support from the baby dad, and how she was so used to her wife, Misha, who she's not with right now, basically shopping for the kids. And she didn't have to do that. She said she was used to a certain way of living financially. And now that she's a single mom, meaning Misha's not in the picture, although she's managing because she has 2 jobs and she does social media, it's still hard. So y'all, let's see if we can make any sense out of this. Let's continue.
You can't do that. And I just think it is so sad how kids are really bullied behind what they wear to school. Like, I always tell my kids, yes, you have nice things. Yes, mommy buys you nice stuff. I try to do my best to match them really well. I try to buy as much as name brand as I can afford. It's not about the brand, but I try my best. And yeah, y'all, backpacks. These backpacks that I bought, let me vent. Let me talk my these backpacks right here from Walmart. They come with the lunch pail and all that. Ellen got an expensive one, of course. This was $100 from Walmart for 3 backpacks, y'all. Let me just show you Ellen's. These are their boards for their pictures in the morning. But let me just show you Ellen's. This is that Justice brand. This was like $12, y'all. This backpack was $30. Girl, for these backpacks right here was $100 last night.
I mean, sis, stuff is expensive. That's why you try to plan ahead for what I said earlier in this video, for an expense that's not unexpected. Back to school is expected. If you're a good mom, like, which I feel like a lot of you guys out here are that's listening to this video, you know you got to show up and show out for your children, regardless if the dad is helping or not. But you know, as us as mothers, we have to show up and show out for our children. So, but this woman says she's a real boss mom, but yet she's complaining because she spent $100 on backpacks. It's like, sis, it doesn't even make sense. It's like either, I mean, personally, I wouldn't call myself a real boss mom. I would just say I'm a mom handling my business. I don't know. I guess, is that a boss? Because bosses don't complain about prices. At least the bosses that I watch don't. Let's continue.
Right. It was like $98 at Walmart. What? For 3 backpacks? Lord, I cannot. So, I'm telling you, last year, backpacks were not that much. I don't know what's going on in the world. But yeah, y'all, I'm about to get this all organized, get them to bed. You know, organize this out so I can vlog it and show you guys what they got, their cute little outfits. Everything went up in price the last 2 years. Yes, it did. And it's crazy. Like, being, you know, I think why it affected me the most this year is because I'm a single mom. Last year, I was still with Misha, even though we weren't living in the same home. I was pregnant, and Misha and her mom went out and bought all the kids' school clothes. So I sent some money to Misha through Cash App, and then she used her money, and they went shopping. Her and her mom went shopping for like 2 days to buy.
Wait, sis, you sent Misha money along with did she actually put money with it? Because if Misha was handling everything, why did you have to send your money? Is it because although she's your wife, those are not biologically her children? Because if Misha was handling everything, your money wouldn't been any good in that equation. She just would have went out and handled it as, you know, spouses do. Oh boy.
Buy them school clothes. So I didn't even go back to school shopping last year. If you watch my videos last year. So, y'all, and then not to be like that, I didn't do the shopping for my sons. Misha always did. My wife did, y'all, for 7 years, including last year. She bought all their clothes. We put money in together, or sometimes she would just, or sometimes I would. But she physically went out there. She ordered their stuff. That was like her thing.
Sis, she was your personal shopper. She didn't pay for everything. You just said it. You said either you would send her, y'all would put money in together. I don't think it was too many times she spent her own money. And if she did, you more than likely paid her back. Okay? So I don't think it was like that. Like, I don't know. It's so weird how people try to make like the relationship is more than what it really is. Like, since you just sat in here and told us that you gave her money to go shopping. So all she did was prevented you from not having to go out and shop. She really didn't help you other than keeping you from having to fight traffic in the malls and on the streets. That's it. But essentially, you spent money last year. Just like you spent money this year, you spent money last year. You just said it. You said you sent her money through Cash App. And her and Misha and her mom went shopping for your kids.
She likes clothes. So this was actually my first year ever shopping for my kids completely alone and budgeting it by myself with my own money. Like, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I almost had a heart attack. I was like, oh my gosh, like even buying hair stuff for their hair, curly hair is high maintenance. Like, it is not cheap. So kudos to all the single moms that have been doing it before me and that are going to do it after me, because
sis, it sounds like you've always been doing it. You just said that you gave Misha money to assist with the shopping of your children. Because technically they're not biologically her children. She married you and it became, because, you know, in California they have the same-sex marriage law. So that's how that she, you know, inherited the children by marriage. But I'm pretty sure now Misha's not sending you money to take care of the family. Hence the reason why you're complaining about, because not one time did she mention Misha sent money to help with anything. She hasn't mentioned that. At least she hasn't in the first 7 minutes of this video.
I really felt it. Like the last, I want to say, since I had the baby and I had to do Michael's birthday party by myself, Ellen's birthday party by myself, and Sunny's birthday party by myself this year, y'all, it has, yeah, it's breaking me. I'm broken. I can't even talk correctly. I'm stuttering. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been hard. And I don't want to say it's been hard because I have multiple streams of income. I don't want to be like, oh my gosh, it's so hard. But I'm used to living a certain way, and I'm used to having a certain amount of money, and I'm accustomed to a certain way of living and buying things. And obviously that has changed drastically from going from 3 children to a household with 2 parents to going to 4 children with a household of 1 parent. And I don't get no child support. And my phone died last night when we were talking about that, because like people.
Well, sis, that seems like that's the problem. You probably should enforce child support, because regardless of what your reasons are, he definitely should be financially responsible for your children. I understand that, you know, there's a difference between begging somebody for money or going through the courts and getting the money that's rightfully due to your children. And in this situation, you don't have to beg anybody for anything. Like, I totally agree with mothers when they say, I'm not going to beg a man to take care of his kids. I agree with that, because I was once in that situation too. I don't deal with child support anymore because my kids are grown now. But back in the day, I had to do that. I had to beg and grovel for money. And when I got tired of begging and grovel, after I let it go for like a couple of years, and then I decided to take him to child support, because I was like, well, yeah, no, I'm not going to beg you. I'm going to just make sure the state makes sure you pay. That way I don't have to have any conversation with you. My money comes straight to my account. However he got paid, weekly, bi-weekly. My money came straight to my account. And when we had breaks in the money, all I did was call the state and say, hey, I haven't received a child support check in a month. Then the state would go ahead and go through their database to see if the dad was working. Once they found his job, boom, my child support was back on track within the next 60 days. That's how I did. I never had to have any conversations with him because the state handled it. Now, I do understand there are some people who don't even want to involve the courts. And, you know, me personally, that's your personal, you know, that's your personal thing. If you are a person who don't want to involve the courts, I mean, that's your prerogative. I just really feel like, and I'm going to make my point here very soon, with Key, I would understand her position if just not last year around the holidays, this woman literally panhandled, in my opinion, the internet for her children to have a Christmas because she was going through a Cash App debacle situation with her wife and a situation with her short-term disability money for her being on leave, maternity leave. She went through a whole fiasco. So at that point, all the financial situations and troubles she was having, she made that the responsibility of her supporters that were watching her, opposed to making it the responsibility of the man who put the babies in her. So that's why I disagree with her, because if she had never got on the internet last year and basically pulled on the heartstrings of people who had nothing to do with her children, and they basically furnished a whole Christmas for her kids, and the baby daddy got to sit back unscathed, like nothing happened. That's why I don't feel her conversation right now. Had she not did that last year, I would understand what she's saying. But you made it the responsibility of your supporters to take care of your children, to help you out. Like, why is it your supporters' responsibility to help you out, but the man who supported babies in you, it's you're letting him get away scot-free because you don't want to deal with him. But you rather for people who you will never meet in person in your life, aid and assist your children having a nice Christmas.
People are like, why don't you get child support from him? Like, who cares what he does? You know what? Everybody has their own personal beliefs when it comes to child support. And I just personally believe, I don't care if there's a restraining order. I don't care what is going on. I don't care if you are in Alaska, okay? I don't care if you are in New Mexico. I don't care if you are in Tubuck-10. I shouldn't have to forcefully make you provide for children that you help make. I shouldn't have to go down to it's just too much. And then they want to be in your financial business. Hey, Jazz.
Oh, Lord, my jazzy life showed up. But you're right, sis. You should not have to force a man to take care of children financially that he willingly put in your body. You're definitely right. I agree with you wholeheartedly. However, you got ignorant people out here, sis. And that's why each and every state in the 50 United States has a system put together so therefore you don't have to go through the begging grovel part of asking for assistance from the father of your child or children. You have the state, and the state will take care of all that for you. And fortunately for you, they don't even charge you a fee. They assess the fee to the father every year for them having to manage his affairs of taking care of his children. I totally disagree. I feel like it is very much everybody's responsibility to take care of their children, regardless if you do it willingly or forcefully. It is your responsibility to take care of your children. And when women allow men, in my opinion, when women allow men not to stand up to their responsibility, I feel like you're putting more pressure on you. And as women, we have enough pressure. We have enough pressure dealing with our kids on a day-to-day basis. Just dealing with life itself. We have to deal with jobs, the kids, finances, keeping the home structured. Like, we have enough to deal with. All he has to do is pay for the child. That's it. I mean, he should want to visit with the child too. But if he don't want to do that, okay, that's fine. But you definitely going to pay for the child. Just like I'm paying for him, you're going to pay for him.
Want to be in your business when somebody's on child support. They want to look at your financials and theirs. It's a lot. And I'm like, I'm just not going to do that. There's a thing called Cash App, Venmo, Zilla, whatever it's called, PayPal. There's multiple ways that you could send money to help buy your kids' school clothes. And also, if you don't want to do that.
But yes, sis, you're right. But that's for somebody who's a willing participant. If he's not a willing participant, Cash App, Venmo, knocking on his front door, none of that's going to work if he's not a willing participant. So therefore, you don't even have to exercise Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, any of those. You exercise your rights through the state that you reside in. She lives in California. So you go to the courts in your city and put in a petition to file for child support. Because regardless if you get $25 a week, $50 a week, or $200 a week, it would have bought those backpacks. If you got $100 a week, it would have at least bought those backpacks. I keep wanting to call them book packs, you guys. It would have at least bought those backpacks. And that could have been $100 of your money that you could have put somewhere else, in my opinion.
That there's a thing called Amazon, right? Where you go on to Amazon and you can actually send a package to another person's address and you could pick out the stuff. So to me, it's just no need. It's no need. And regardless of what me and my kids' father, I'm talking about the 3 oldest kids, have went through or whatever the situation is, I'm just not going to do that. It's already hard out here for a Black man to survive, to make it. And I'm not going to be putting him on child support.
It's already hard enough out here for a Black man. What about a Black woman? It's just as hard as out here for a Black woman is a Black man. So since it's hard out here for a pimp, you are deciding to make it even harder on yourself because you want to give him some grace. But last year, you decided to pray, and I'm going to use that word because that's definitely what I felt it was. You decided to pray on the vulnerability of the Christmas holiday with your supporters so they can support you and your family, so you can make sure your kids have a good Christmas. So it was the responsibility of people who had nothing to do with the fact that those 3 children exist in this world. It was their responsibility. You basically took people's kindness for a weakness, in my opinion. But then you sit on this internet and say it's hard out here for a Black man. It probably was a Black man that was in your chat when you were asking for Cash App that Cash App you.
If he wanted to, he would, because he can. He makes really good money. He just bought another Audi. So, and to me, it speaks volumes to your children. Your children are more than aware that who's buying them things, who's providing, who's here, who's helping. Because I'm one of those parents. Like when Misha sent the money for Sunny's birthday, I was like, hey, Misha sent you some money. How do you want to spend it? What do you want to do? I'm not going to be one of the parents. I'm going to let you know, like, this parent did this, and this parent did that. But I'm also not going to be like, well, they didn't do anything, because you're going to see it for yourself because you're already aware that mommy would tell you.
Right, sis. You tell the kids that the daddy's not doing anything. It's not the fact that they're seeing it for themselves. You make sure you reassure that they see it. You make sure you focus on the fact that the daddy is not helping. It's not like they know what's going on. They only know what's going on when you tell them, because the dad doesn't pay child support and put it in their hand. Typically, the child support comes to the mother, and the mother distributes the money and allocate it to wherever it needs to go throughout the household to help the child or children. So you very much do tell those kids, your dad doesn't do anything. I'm the only one that takes care of you. Like, you sound like the type of woman that would say that. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't say that. But again, don't say that the kids are making their own decision when you're influencing that decision by, once again, putting them into the business that maybe they shouldn't even know, right? Because, I mean, it definitely sounds like, in my opinion, you guys, Key seems like a hard person to get along with. That's just my opinion. She definitely seems like a difficult person to get along with. And maybe, and I'm not saying this is a good excuse for the dad, but maybe that's one of his excuses of why he doesn't deal with her. You know, unfortunately, the kids suffer from that. But even with all that being said, if he really wanted to take care of his children, he would go and put his own self on child support. Y'all, we watched Liv's life. We saw Gerard tell us that he went and put his own self on child support. So we definitely know there are men. Shouts out to the men that go and put their own selves on child support. Shouts out to y'all, because it ain't a whole bunch of them. There are some, but not a whole bunch, that will take on that obligation of just going and putting their own self on child support because they don't want to have to deal with people like Keith.
So that's just kind of how I move as a mother. And it is what it is. Some people aren't going to agree. Some people are going to be like, so you're going to struggle willingly when you know you can get some money. No, it's not. I'm not struggling. It's just still a headache. It still makes me frustrated that.
Sis, you're struggling. You're just trying to dance it up, dress it up. Sis, if it looked like a pig and it walked like a pig, sis, it definitely is a pig. Okay? So, yes, you're struggling, sis. You just sat here and complained about you spending $100 on backpacks. And we understand everything is expensive now. Things are much more expensive than they were this time last year, unfortunately, right? But once again, it is you're struggling, because if you have to sit in the middle of Walmart and tell us that you spent $400 on tennis shoes, again, that doesn't sound like a real boss mom to me. That sounds like a real bothered mom.
We are in this place that regardless of what has transpired, you can't put your pride aside for your kids. So it don't matter. I made it happen like a captain, period. And my kids are straight. They always have been and they always will be, because I'm a mommy that gets out here and gets to the bag. Okay. That is why we call each other the boss moms, because we're bosses.
Oh, God. Yeah, no, sis. You're definitely not. Sis, you don't exude boss mom quality, in my opinion. You definitely are handling your business. You're doing what women should do and get out here and take care of their kids, regardless of what other people are doing. You definitely are doing that, Key. I cannot say that you're not, because it definitely seems like you are handling. You got a roof over your head. You got a vehicle. You had money to go buy the kids what they needed. Yes, you did do all that. However, sis, that's what we're supposed to do as mothers. You really don't get a pat on the back for doing something that you're supposed to do. You're even all parents should take care of their children equally. But we do understand there's situations where we have parents that don't, right? But at the end of the day, us as mothers, we know no matter what, our kids depend on us, right? Our kids depended on us when they were in our womb for life, for food, for oxygen, and they depend on us for those same things once we push them out our womb. They are our children for life. But I totally disagree with the fact that you say your baby daddy can very much afford to take care of your children. And I just really feel like your stubbornness allows you not to. I think you want to be able to throw that in his face, or even I think you want to use that as a badge of honor to your children. I take care of you all by myself. Your dad doesn't help me with anything. I do it all by myself. But sis, what happens in the event that something happens to you and you can't? Case in point, when you went on maternity leave last year and Misha stole your money out your account, if you would have had child support coming in, you probably could have cushioned some of those blows because you had additional money coming in. This is where I totally disagree with this lady. That's why I'm just going to tell y'all, when y'all get on this internet and follow these people and listen to these people, a lot of what these people are saying, you really have to take it with a grain of salt, y'all. Because a lot of these people live in life that works for them, but doesn't mean that's the way it should be, right? And again, I'm a firm believer in you do what you feel like is best for you. But I'm also a firm believer in if you have to feel the pressure, everybody involved gonna feel the pressure too. I'm not gonna allow myself to feel the pressure all by myself when I did not make these kids all by myself. Now, obviously, it's a lot of times it's our fault because we choose to procreate with these men. But a lot of times, y'all, we don't know in the beginning that these men, once the babies come along, then they turn up being deadbeats. A lot of times we don't foresee that coming. We don't see the red flags. Some of us do and ignore it, and some of us literally don't because, people are good at being chameleons, right? So maybe that was her situation. Again, I don't know. I mean, obviously, at one point they got along. He put 3 babies in her at 3 different times.
And that's just not a name we threw out there. That's what I really do. My kids are always like, Mom, you get paid from YouTube, you get paid from TikTok, and you have your regular job, and you're a birth justice advocate. I agree, they need help, right? And I have multiple, and I'm not balling, I'm not out here like, whoo, I'm about to give me a Range Rover tomorrow. but we're well taken care of.
You mean you talk to Jasmine too much. Sis, you just said you are a boss mom, okay? So you should be balling. Boss moms are ballers. My goodness.
We have a nice roof over our head. We have a nice vehicle. You know, my kids don't like anything. They went into the mall and spent $400 on shoes. Like, life is still good.
Again, you guys, Key definitely has a storyline. She's not real consistent with it, but she will drop in every now and then and give you a little updates.
I'm so glad I don't have to go shopping for a couple days and get any more clothes. Like,
store in a couple of days. So you didn't buy, you didn't have enough to get them for like a month? Oh boy. You see, you know what? That's what I'm yeah, I don't get it. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I used to shop for my children, and I don't want to make this all about me because it's not about me, but I like to sometimes incorporate a little of my personal experience. Like I said, you guys, it wasn't easy for me either, okay? When I was raising my children, I didn't consider myself a boss mom. I just consider myself a regular schmegler mother who was out here handling her business by going to work and doing right by my children. Because it's hard out here for people. Unless you making a certain amount of money every year, you know, life is expensive. Life has always been expensive. You know, it costs to do everything. So I understand what she's saying, but I totally disagree with Key with the whole situation with the dad not being a willing participant and her not making him a participant. Let me say that. Her not making him a participant in the funding of taking care of those children, because it definitely is his responsibility. And I'm hoping this guy doesn't have any more kids out there. If I don't know, I'm assuming the 3 he has is with Key and he doesn't have any more. She hasn't mentioned anything. I don't know. I don't watch Key like that. You guys correct me in the chat if he has other kids, like if you heard her say that. But I just really feel like regardless if he has other kids or not, that's not her focus. Her focus is obviously on the children she has with him. So that's her main focus. That should be her only focus. I mean, if he has other children, then the mothers of those kids need to worry about the well-being of those children. But I definitely feel like she does need to enforce child support on this man to make life easier. We're not going to say we're going to make it perfect, but it definitely will lessen the load off of her, if not even a little bit. She's over here relishing in the fact that she cashed out Misha, and Misha went to the mall for her to be her personal shopper. And she makes like that was so easy. Like Misha made her life much easier. Well, why you won't make the dad make life a little easier by enforcing his hand on paying child support through the state? Okay, because it doesn't sound like you could just call him up and say, hey, cash out me $500, right? Especially with you saying he makes enough money or he makes good money and he just bought himself an Audi, okay? Well, why you and your children can't benefit from that as well too? I don't know, you guys. I don't get it. I don't understand women who do that. Like, why make it harder on yourself when it's already hard enough out here? Like the time she spent working 2 jobs and like she says, multiple streams of revenue. And I'm not saying that she needs to eliminate any of those, right? Because there's no such thing as I got enough money. You always need a multitude, okay? Especially in 2022. But why not add child support as another stream of revenue, another stream of income? Why not add child support? Because you definitely have the children there that can support, that you need to support and who will benefit from that support. So why not child support being on that list as well too? Now, obviously, you always only can count on the money that you bring in, the money that you earn. Child support, for me, child support never was, I never put that in my budget because it wasn't consistent, right? Because if he decided to quit his job, then obviously there's no child support. But I definitely did use that money to make things a little easier for me when it came time to taking care of my children. I definitely did do that. But you guys let me know your thoughts and your opinions down below, and I'll definitely meet you down in the comments. Remember, you guys, sub what you love. Bye.